Hey and welcome. Kimberly Castleberry here with JustAskKim.com. And today I want to talk about one of the questions I get asked relatively regularly, and that's how can we get feedback from our readers? And by that I mean how can we do some polling or surveying and get feedback in the best possible way to use it. Now, if you've looked at the alternatives, you're aware that there's a whole bunch of plugins out there. There's a whole bunch of other sites out there. There's a lot of ways that you can do it. And some of it is integrated with your blog stuff, and some of it isn't. And often what we find is that items that are plugin based can create a plugin that has to hang around forever, or the post that it was used on quits working, which might not be a bad issue if it was temporary, but maybe we don't want an ugly post on our blog. Or we have polling options that are off-site, but a lot of them for larger polls or to keep the poll data around for a long time tend to cost quite a bit of money. So recently I was doing some work with this, and the best solution I've come up with is to use Google Docs. Now that might surprise you. You might think of Google Docs as, Word documents, spreadsheets, things like that. But it turns out that they offer something called forms. And forms are really cool. I've been using them pretty extensively with my audience for the last couple months, and I've been really pleased with the results. So let me show you what we got going on. I'm going to go into docs.google.com. You'll need to be signed into your Google account and come to docs.google.com. And here you'll see, the usual layout, but what you want to do is come over here under Create, and you want to click Create, and instead of any of the usual ones, click Form. And this is going to bring us to a sheet this is going to be the questions, okay? So this is the contents of what the poll is inside. So let's say, do you prefer A or B? And select A or B. This is some help text. Oh no, sorry, this is the name of the poll. This is our poll title. Welcome. Okay, now do you select, here's our question in yellow. Do you prefer A or B? Select A or B. And we can have multiple question types. We have text questions, paragraphs, multiple choice, checkbox, choose from a list, scale, and grid. This is going to be a choose from a list, and we're going to say A or B. And we can choose whether we want to make it required, and then click Done. And then there's our question here with a little drop down, A or B. Then we have, oops, that's a sample. I'm going to get rid of that one. So I can get rid of a question, really easy. Now I can add an item. I want to add a paragraph. So tell me why you prefer your choice above. Tell me more. Okay, paragraph. This is their place for their long answer. Select Done. We have the second question. Now we're going to add another item. Let's say, add item. Let's add multiple choice. Which is more correct, C or D? Okay, select C or D. Multiple choice, yes, and C or D. Now here's what's neat, because based on the multiple choice, we can choose to take them to different places. Okay, so we can choose to route them differently based on this choice, and this is important in advanced survey development. We're not really going to talk about that today, but it's there and you should know it's there. I'm going to select Done. Oh, we also can select to add an other if they just want an optional other, and they can write in their own answer. I'm going to select Done, and we're going to add, maybe you want a header or a page break to divide the questions up. We can have that. And then we're going to do some check boxes, and we're going to say select which ones you love. Okay, select all that apply. A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so I've got a number of questions there, and we've set these up. I'm going to say Done. So we've got a number of questions there. Now in this raw state, we could go ahead and we could email this form, and if I click email, there's a field here to go ahead and directly email it. Really handy. It displays, it comes out very nice, it mails very nice. We also can come here and see responses, but we're not going to do that yet. We have more options. We have embed and edit, and we have save. Generally, the first thing I want to do is I want to stylize this some, because by default, it's pretty ugly. So select on theme, and here you're going to see all the available themes. And there are about 20 pages of this. Sorry, about 100 pages of this. And so generally, you can find something that's not terrible. And that's really the goal. You're not really going to find anything that's perfect, but if you can find something that just works, even if it's, here's a basic grayscale. Some of these are really hard to read. The black ones can be really challenging to read, so be careful with, people's eyes and things like that. Come on down. Like I said, there's lots of selection here, lots of choices and colors, and some of them are a little obnoxious, but, you take what you get. And generally, you can find something that works. I'm going to select the spiral shells. And you can see that this is what it looks like. So if we decide we like this, then we're going to click Save up here. Otherwise, you can click Cancel and go back. I'm going to click Saved. Whoops, sorry, I need to click Apply. Okay, now we're applied. So now theme says spiral shells. Now, at this point, I can either embed it or email it, or down here at the bottom, it says you can view the published form here. I usually take this URL and come into my blog and I'm going to come in here into Pretty Link, and I'm going to use Pretty Link to make that link less obnoxious. Okay, that, as you saw, that link here, look at how long and unwieldy that is. That's just, asking to end up with a broken link somewhere. You mail it out and just might not work. So I'm going to go into Pretty Link, and I'm going to go Add New. And you can do this with either version of Pretty Link. And I'm going to do poll, and this is A or B. Okay, A or B. So there's my link. And any link options I may need, but my defaults are right. And I'm going to click Create. And now I'm going to tell it to open that. And I can see that it opens my poll. Very cool. Now, you'll also notice in here that you have an embedding option. The thing with embedding for WordPress, though, is that most of our themes are not wide enough for this. Let me show you what I mean. You can go to, I'm going to use Pages, so I have my templates. You can go to Add New. I'm going to do Test. And I go to HTML so I can embed the code, put the code in, preview. And so now that we've previewed this, what we see is that our form is much too wide for the way it's displayed. So it's writing under. In your theme, it might write over. It might mess up the page elements. What we want to do is we want to come back into the page edit. You want to flip to visual. And you want to give it a second to display, and it's just going to display a box. But what you want to do is you want to get a hold of these corners, and you want to drag this down until it is within dimensions for your theme. Now the thing is that this is not going to work for all the styles, and sometimes it's not going to work at all for you depending on your theme. But usually you can get this scaled to a degree that when you preview it, you'll see that it now fits within here. Okay, now I do have a scroll bar, but generally that's all right. See, my survey still lays out, it still displays. In this case, you would want to try to match the theme style that you used a little closer to your blog. And in fact, the plain layout often works best if you're going to embed it into WordPress, whereas this colored style often works best if you're not going to embed it and just going to give somebody the link. So what do we have at that point? Well, at this point, people come and they fill out this form, okay, and they hit submit, and you're well, good, and proper. So then we're going to go back and we're going to take a look into Google Docs. And in Google Docs, I have clicked Save on this form, and I'm going to close that form, and I'm going to open a form that, actually, first I'm going to delete that test form. I'm going to click that link. Whoops, click, now delete. There we go. So we've deleted that test form, and I'm going to open up one of my prior forms and my prior surveys. And now that I've opened it, what I see here is that all the answers are in here, They have timestamps on them. They have the answer, to any number of questions that I had, and this one's only a single question. And if I want to get back to the form, up here I go to Form, and I can go to Edit Form, or Send Form, or Go to Live Form, or Embed. So if I wanted to go edit that form, I can come back to here, and here's my form. Now I have to be aware that that's, of course, going to, the people that already voted aren't going to see the new changes and things like that. So it can create a real mess with my data later to change a form. But sometimes you send one out and you realize there's an error in it and you need to fix it. And that allows you to fix it really easy. And all the data is contained here in a spreadsheet. And the advantage of it being in a spreadsheet is, one, you own your data, so you can save your data, back it up to your computer. You've got it forever. It's not going to cost you anything, totally free. And the other is that you can, in the case of simple surveys and things like A or B, you can then import it into other tools where you can manage it, where you can analyze the data, things like that. You can do extended processing on it if that's your kind of thing. I really like this because it's fast, stable, simple. Works pretty much everywhere. They give you the form. You don't even need a blog to do this. They give you the page to send out, so you can use it to even poll your Facebook fans, or you can poll your Twitter followers, things like that. You don't even necessarily have to have a blog. You don't have to do any extended setup. There's no need for a plugin, although I do use PrettyLink. I use PrettyLink for everything. I highly suggest you check out PrettyLink Pro. And this has definitely become my preferred method for doing polls and surveys. All right, that is Google Docs Forms. I hope you enjoyed this tip, and I'll catch you again in the next video. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, be sure to leave them in the comment section below, and we'll talk soon. Kimberly Castleberry, over and out.